Hello and welcome to another Tech Tip Tuesday. Today we're going to have a whistle-stop tour around Microsoft lists. So we're going to start from creating our list. In our SharePoint library, I'm in my solutions library, we're going to just go new and list. And it gives you this window, and from here you can create a list from blank. So either just directly with the list, with a capture form, with a gallery view or a calendar if you're wanting more of tiles in a gallery, or it's going to be based around dates and what's happening, have it as a calendar. And board gives you a Kanban board style view of your list, but we'll see these in action in a bit. Perhaps one of these templates down below is good enough to get you started. You want to manage your assets or a work tracker, but we're going to start from blank and go through some of the columns. So SE leads, I want to create a list to capture some potential leads. Give it an S, it's in my solutions examples, and we'll create that. Takes a second, and then it gives us a header, SE leads, with a title, and that's always by default. But I want to call this company. And because of this list, this column being default, we can't really change much about it. So I just want it to be a bit of text. So company will be fine, but it will always refer to it as title in the back end. So for example, let's go list settings. Yep, fantastic. It always has to show you up, doesn't it? Give it a refresh. List settings. There we go. It's working now. So you see title, there's nothing here that's called company. Title is company, and a good way to get a proper title column name is here. So, and if I try and change it here, I can force it to be changed there. So let's go back to our list, company, perfect. And then I want to add another text. So contact name, single line. I don't want a default. 255 characters is fine. I can require this always has information. Yes, I always want a contact name of someone. I don't want to enforce unique values. That would make me always have to put something different. But there could be someone with the same name at a different company. So we'll leave that, we'll save that. And then I want more text. I want contact email. And again, I want there to be information because I need to be able to contact that person. But the rest is fine. And then I'm going to want a choice. I want a choice column. And I'm going to call it temp because they're a lead. I'm going to assign them a temperature. So blue is going to be cold. Yellow is going to be warm. And I'll pick red for hot. And by default, people will come in none. I will decide, because I'm adding them manually, I will decide as I add them. I want it as a drop down, that's fine. I don't want multiple, they can't be warm and cold, they can only be one. I'm not going to force that. And I don't want unique values, but we'll save that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come into column settings and I'm going to go show and hide columns. And I want to see created, so that I can see the lot when it was made. Because I think that will be helpful to see. And then let's look at what else we have. Date and time. I'll add date and time because I'm going to call that follow up call. Include time, yes. Friendly, yeah, I want it to look a bit nicer. Default, no. No, I'll leave those. So save that. I then want multiple lines of text because I want to add some notes about a company or a contact, and that's all fine. I can turn this on to be able to make things bold or italicize different font sizes, that kind of thing. No, that's fine. What else do we have? Person. I will go manager, so then I can pick someone within my tenant who manages that, and I want to see their profile pictures. Number, do I need a number? Don't have a need for a number right now. It's good to pick that for a specific number. So maybe it's something you want to do a calculation on. So maybe, I'll think of an example for that. Quick steps, we'll come to this later. I do want to add one. Do I want to add it now? No, I want a follow-up column first. So we'll use a yes, no for that. I'm going to go followed up, and by default it will be no. Don't want that to have data. Fine. And then I'm just gonna, I want this with my temperature, so I'm just going to drag and drop, nice and easy. Hyperlink, I could link to their website, but I don't really need that. Currency, similar to number, but it will look at this as a value of money. So maybe I want to set how much that company is worth to me and what they're potentially looking for. I want it to be the UK. 1,000 separator, I don't want to set any of that. That's all fine. What other column types? Location. Do I want to set their head office or who I'm dealing with? Do I want to assign them a picture? Do I want to add other metadata around it? Lookup, maybe I want to have a project list at some point and I want to look up clients and I can pull them through like that. Maybe I want to give them a rating. How easy were they to deal with, or how likely are they to buy again? I can do that based on a rating. So now that we've got follow up, I'm going to add in a quick step, and this is going to be temp change. So add a quick step, new quick step, and I'm going to set a value. And then we get a fairly straightforward way of assigning that. So in temp, set it to hot, and also in followed up, set it to yes. So followed up, now hot, and only show it if temp is not hot. Perfect, create that. Save that, and then let's add in a customer. So Microsoft and Bill Gates, Billy at ms.com. Temp, he's just a bit cold. Haven't got a follow-up call just yet. Because I've set this to rich text, I've got to press the pencil here, and then I get a few options. So I want to go international, but let's make that a little bit bigger, and maybe assign that as green. Employees, 10,000 plus. Let's make that bold because that's a bit of a big deal. So we can do all of that, and even add in bullet points, indents, put in an image. So make just the text look a bit nicer, and then you see it appears there. I'm going to be the manager, so if I search for myself, I can pick myself. I've not followed up, and they're worth, maybe I have a product worth £500. You can apply labels, retention labels, if you've got them set up in your tenant, and any attachments you want to attach as well. Maybe a white label you want to send them built specifically for them, you can attach that there. Save that, and they appear. So now we see Microsoft, cold is blue, no follow-up, no follow-up call assigned. There's my note with the formatting, there's me, and there's a nice button. So maybe I have followed up, and they are now hot, they're ready to buy, they're just maybe crossing the T's, dotting the I's. I can press that, and followed up becomes ticked, and temp becomes hot, just at the press of a button. So if I undo that, exit, it still doesn't appear because I set it to only appear if it's not hot. So let's put that to warm, and then no follow up, and then as you can see that button's there, has reappeared. But I added in the created because I want to see it a minute ago. So I haven't followed up either, but it's not that obvious. It's just white and grey when I hover over it. So what we're going to do is on follow up, column settings, format this column. And then if I go to format view, manage rules, I want this row to show red if follow up is no. Okay, let's hit it again there. Show list item as red if follow up is no. And then what I can do is, because I can see created was just a minute ago, that's not a big deal. But the column lets me see that this came in fairly recently. I haven't followed up yet, but if that got to a day or 2 days, then I really need to get on it so that client doesn't go stale, that lead doesn't go stale. And we save that and close that. And then when I press that now, it makes a fool of me, doesn't it? So hot to warm, no follow up, exit that. Was it here? Format this column, manage rules, what we've got there, we've got nothing there. Delete that. So, okay, I added a second rule, so now we save that, close that, followed up. I followed up, they're now hot. I don't need to action that right now because I followed up, I've had the call, they're thinking about it. I just need to send an email when they're ready in a day or so, because that lead has been followed up and hopefully they're going to go for it. So this has been a nice little whistle stop tour of lists. But let me show you that one last thing is views. So maybe I just want to see companies and I find that these extra columns are a bit noisy. I'm just going to go companies, make it public so everyone on the team can see it, and we create that. And then what I can do is if I drop down on any column and then show and hide, I just untick everything and apply. Now I'm only seeing companies and contact details. A nice tidier view, making it easier to see the data I'm trying to see, and everyone can see that. But if I want to see the other columns, I can go all items again and it pulls them all through. Perhaps I want to see my follow-up calls in another view on a calendar over the month. So it will do that on follow-up, and then I create that, and then I'll get, if I added something into the follow-up call, so again we get a nice drop down, say for the 10th of March, maybe not at midnight. Let's go 1 PM, save that, exit grid view to save, and let's go calls, go to March, and then there I see my call with Microsoft is there, and that's how you can see all your leads and your follow-up calls. But maybe I want to see everything based on their temperature. So we create that, and then you get this Kanban board kind of view, and as I drag Microsoft, it's changing the temperature. If I was to go to all items, they're now warm. And if I go back to temps, I can move them and they're, just see, I can see everyone in which column and know, okay, I want to work on this list of companies to make them warm, get them hot. I need to reach out to these people, do some follow up. So this is the power of lists, and it's great long-term solution from Excel, because Excel is great and it's really flexible, but it's kind of too flexible, and it can make your data very messy because it will let you enter data however you want, whereas lists forces you to separate it out to columns. And if you go to a bespoke system with a database, it'll be a lot easier to go from lists where your data's tidy than from Excel. So a nice little long-term thought process with lists for that reason. And then as we'll look forward in the next few weeks with Power Automate and Planner, Lists plays really nicely with all these extra components in our Office 365. And like I keep saying, at no extra cost to your current subscriptions with Microsoft. So play with it yourself, get in touch with me if it's a bit daunting, and let's make this tech work harder for you because you're already paying enough for it. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.